Hi guys, I'm the Ember, and today we're going to be making this cool particle sim in Blender, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so I've opened up Blender, and if you don't know what button I'm pressing, you can look down here and it'll show you if I press something. Yeah. So I'm gonna select these two objects here by just clicking and box selecting. If you can't box select, go over here and left click and hold on this button here, and then make sure you have select box selected. Then you can click and drag a box around these two, and then you can press X to delete. Then I'm going to select the camera. You're going to press Alt R to reset rotation and Alt G to reset location. And then we're going to do RX90, RZ90. Then you can press GX8. Then I'm just going to pull this window up here, and I'm going to change this to 3D viewport. And I'm going to disable these two here, and press 0 on your number pad to go to camera view. Or if you don't have a number pad, you can enable this again and press camera. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to add a plane and go RY90. I'm going to move this back, so GX. And I'll move it back -4, so you can just type in -4. Then I'm going to scale this up. What's this one? By pressing S. And SY to scale it along the Y axis. And then this is going to be our background. So we can go up here, double click on this and call it BG. Like that. Now we're going to add the particle emitter. So Shift A, mesh plane. And I'm going to move this up till it's just about out of the camera frame right here. Then SY to scale along the Y axis and drag about that long. So it's just outside the camera view here. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the particle settings, create a new particle system. We're going to leave all these settings except end. We're going to set the end to 250. So if you press the space bar to play the animation, you'll see we have a lot of these little spheres. Now we need to make the long cube object. So we're going to Shift A, mesh cube, SX.1, SY.1, and SZ.6. Then we're going to move it out of the way, so GY, and move this over here. Select the particle emitter again, and go down to render, render as halo to render as object, and then we're going to select instance object. You can click the eyedropper and then select this cube. So now you see it's using that cube, but they're very, very small. So to make them bigger, we can change the scale, and I'm going to do 0.2. And now we need to add some materials. So if we go down here to the drop down here and change it to shader editor, I'm going to select our object over here, and I'm going to double click up here. I'm going to call this instance object, like that. And then we're going to click new material. We're going to write glow material, like that. Going to add a object info, so Shift A and then search object info. We're going to plug the random into the base color. So nothing's really happening at the moment, so I'm going to go to material preview. And you can see that we've got different colors going on here. You can press this icon over here to go to camera view, or 0 on the numpad. And now I want to change the color, so I'm going to add a color ramp. So Shift A, and we can search for color ramp. Put that in there. I'm going to select this color here, black, and change the color all the way up to fully white. I'm going to make it a teal-ish blue. Select white and make it to green. So that's looking pretty good, but now we want it to glow. So we're going to go down here to emission and make this fully white as well. But you can't really see the colors. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to plug the color into the emission instead of just making it white. And then if we turn this up, you can see that it gets brighter, but you can't really see that it's glowing. So we're going to go over to the render properties here, and we're going to turn on bloom. Now if we change the emission strength up, you'll see that it glows. I'm going to go over to render view, and I might change this down a tiny bit. I'm going to do 36 is good. Okay, so I'm going to select the background and click new. I'm going to call this material BG. And I'm going to add a Voronoi texture and plug the color into the base color. And I'm going to also change the random down to 0. Then we can scale this down a whole bunch. Now I also want to change the color of this, so Shift A, and I'm going to add a color ramp. Put that in there. And I'm going to change this white value down a lot to just about that. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's basically everything. Now I just need to change a few render settings. So I'm going to go over to output properties here, and I'm going to select where we want to save this by clicking this icon here. Just save it anywhere you want. And then I'm going to change file format from PNG to FFmpeg video. And go down to encoding and make it MP4. Like that. Okay. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the camera icon here. Go down to color management and change the look to high contrast. Maybe you can go very high contrast. Okay, so now we're basically done. And all we have to do is go up to render. Click render. And then click render animation. And when this render is finished, you'll have a really cool animation to show to your family and friends. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something and had fun. And if you like my content, please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.